Yay! So I'm so excited for this session because I get this asked this question all the time, and this is the most important thing when it comes to manifesting your desire. So this is what is the key to collapsing time and becoming an instant match. Okay? So a lot of times we think, okay, why is my manifestation not here yet? Why it is taking a little bit longer? If you have any of this feeling that it should be here by now, the key is this is the reason why it's not here, and this is how you can resolve it. The reason it's not here yet is because you haven't become a match yet, because it has always been here, it's here, it will always be here. The key is to become a match. And when you become a match, it's a matter of weeks. It's not even a matter of months or years, is too far. Okay. It's a matter of weeks. So the key is how to stay on the frequency of your vision all day long. So I'm a huge fan of Neville Goddard. And one thing he said, which I think I've said, repeated a lot of times in my sessions, but I just love it. In the power of awareness, he gives the example of moth. And he said that the moth jumped all in the fire and became one color and one substance. And he was trying to explain the idea of being, idea of bringing your vision into being, which makes everything happen, which shift the results. And when he said the moth jumped all in, what it meant was that it didn't think about it. It didn't think about how long it's going to take. How is the temperature of the fire? Is it okay? It just jumped all in. And what I really want to help you embody today is the jumping all in and become an instant match. And I will also share what what it actually looks like from your nervous system point of view, what it looks like from your mind, from your subconscious, and from your body point of view. So when it comes to manifesting your income, there is really one thing you want to understand when it comes to increasing your capacity to hold, when it comes to holding more money, smashing your income ceiling. From neuroscience perspective, there is literally one thing you want to understand. And I'm going to use one of the existing whiteboards because I think I was doing it before. And I'm going to teach it in the whiteboard. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it means to increase your capacity in your nervous system. What does it mean when somebody's attracting 10K months when versus somebody's attracting 100K months? How is that different? So I'm going to share with you now. So if we look at it this, let's say, I'm just giving an example, this is 10K months. Okay, I'm just writing here. This is 10K months. And what this is your nerves. This is your nerve. Okay, your nerves have this electricity, like the way energy feels in your nerves is the electromagnetic waves. Okay, so it flows through like electricity. And with 10K months, this is the capacity of the nerve. Now, when you want to go from 10K to, let's say, 50K months, what you want to do is you want to increase the capacity. This is the difference. Like your nerves, your nervous system has expanded to hold more. This is literally the difference between increasing your money frequency. That means there is expansion in your nervous system. It has expanded to hold more money. It can hold the energy of more money. Okay. And when we started to receive more, or when the contrast happened, or when something happens and we feel the tightness, we feel the heaviness, the reason you're feeling it, the heaviness, is because your income or your capacity is going more. So if I increase this to more bigger number, and if I increase, let's say here to 20, all of a sudden you see this box is tight in your nerves, right? And this is the reason, because now the capacity in your nerves is getting smaller and this box is getting bigger. But when you go here, and this number should be a lot bigger because it's a bigger number, your nerves have enough capacity to hold that. And the best ways you increase your capacity is by processing your emotions, emotional regulation. That's how you increase your capacity to hold more. So, attracting more money
I,
is of nervous system expansion. Sorry, is there a question? Sorry. Yeah. So attracting more money is a game of nervous system expansion where initially when your capacity is this is what your nervous system can hold. This is the energy it can hold. That means if you're attracting more clients or if you're attracting more investment or if you're attracting whatever that is, this narrow nervous system cannot hold that. We need expansion. Now the question is, the $1 million question is how we go from here to here, how we expand our nervous system. And the way to expand your nervous system is by regulating your emotions. So all the emotions that you did not process in your childhood, and look, those emotions could not be like huge. Maybe as an adult, when you think of that time, you would be like, it wasn't as bad, but for a child, it was huge. So your inner child has frozen a lot of emotions which were never processed. So when you were born, your capacity was infinite, literally infinite. Okay, so as a child, your capacity was infinite. I'm drawing it here because there's no other, more space in the whiteboard, but you get at the point that the capacity was infinite. As you start to grow older and older based on your environment, how money was talked about, how other people were you know, sharing about money, how your parents felt about money, what are the things they said, your capacity was determined. And the more overwhelm, emotions, fear, anxiety, and all those things you associated with money, the more your capacity for was predetermined. So if there is a person who's born in a very wealthy family, for them, their naturally capacity is just a lot. I was listening to Grant Cardone's daughter on one of the podcasts, and she was saying that how long would it take me? She was asking her dad, how long would it take me to make 100 million, right? And imagine, like as a child, the number that she's thinking about is 100 million. She's not even saying a million. She's thinking about 100 million. So her capacity, her emotional capacity is already widened. What we want to do is we want to go from here to here and keep increasing to our original state, right? Keep going to who we are, our true essence. And in order to do that, what we start to do is we start to release our emotions. Those emotions are frozen, and we start to feel them at the level 10. So increase their capacity, increase their intensity, really feel those emotions. And as they go more and more intense, then you release them. And this is really, really important because when you release that, it's like those emotions are causing the tightness in your nerves. And when you do that, it starts to increase. So, for instance, if you are attracting a contrast, let's say you just made a big payment, right? And all of a sudden you have this tightness like here because it's more than your capacity to circulate or your capacity to receive. It's more than the nervous system's width. What you start to do is you start to say, okay, what fear is coming? The fear of money running out. When that happened in my life, when did I saw my parents? It's not important to know exactly when that happened, or when did I feel that maybe it happened quite recently when you lost a lot of money or whatever that is coming from. You go back in that emotion, you really feel that emotion, you feel the intensity, you make it 10 out of 10, and you say, okay, I'm going to feel how it really felt. And the more you start to feel it, in the beginning, your body will fight it, your nervous system will feel very unsafe. But what you want to do is you want to start building a very close connection with your inner child, right? Because what you're doing is you're really allowing your inner child and telling your inner child, it's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to process those emotions. And it seems very scary. It seems like a lot of people feel they will go out of control. A lot of people feel they won't be able to handle their emotions. But when you allow your inner child to do that, it's miraculous. It's magical. All that fear just goes away. All that feeling, all that tightness just goes away. And you start to operate from an expanded place. Because in this expanded place, like the 50K months or 100K months, in this expanded nervous system, you have access to more intuition. You have access to more universal intelligence. You have access to more guidance. You have access to more ideas. Your awareness is different. Your belief system is different. Your energy is different. So, in this place, you have access to more things, right? And that's why you really want to be in that place. Here, you might still have the same guidance available, the same intuition is talking to you, but you won't be able to listen to it because it's the tightness. So when we are in the tight state, when we are in the contracted state, it's it's hard to think outside the box. It's hard to receive that guidance. It's hard to take the inspired action. But the more we expand, the more money flows. Okay. Now the more we do that, the more we start to increase our capacity. But then the key is the identity shift. So how to operate on the frequency of your vision all day long and on autopilot, all day long as your normal state, all day long as this is normal, this is who you are, is first by releasing the emotion. But when you release the emotion, now you're on the neutral ground. Now you haven't just, like you haven't embodied that money frequency. So how do you do that? What you start to do is you start to ask yourself, how would that version of me who has already manifested what I want, how would they think, how would they feel, and how would they live their life? So I want to share with you a very personal but a very powerful experience that I had that made me realize that it's about being and the identity than anything else. So when I wanted to go from my corporate to start my own coaching business, what I thought was what the lie that we all are told, that you need to find the perfect strategy. You need to find that perfect way, that step by step. And there is this quest of finding that perfect way. So I started doing one strategy. I did everything to the final dot, like I did in my best of ability, did executed every single step to make sure I'm doing it right. It didn't work. Did the second one, did the third one, until I was at the eighth strategy when I was like, this is not working. Like, no matter what I do. And that's when I realized that it's not the strategy, it's who you are when you're executing the strategy. Strategy piece, the strategy will not work for one person, may work for the other person, just because they are in the different expanded state, right? So the same strategy might work for somebody else. And funnily enough, now I do this, I intuitively just do similar things like that I tried before, and now they work miraculously. Like, they just beautifully work because now I am that person. So when I got really burned out after trying eight strategies, what I did was I started doing the identity shift. And I remember going through a huge shift. And what I did was I redesigned my day, my life in such a way that I'm living in alignment with the version of me who is attracting that amount of money already, who has those results already, who has a thriving business already, and not just a business, but a very thriving business. So, what I did with myself, I said, what are my current thoughts? And this is really important. What are your current thoughts about your business or about your source of income? What are you actually thinking? If you can be so brutally, so raw and unfiltered, like honest with yourself and say, what am I actually thinking? Not trying to dim your thoughts down, not trying to distract yourself, but what are you really thinking? All the thoughts you have about you receiving, about your business, about what you're doing, about how things are going, all the thoughts, if you start to write them down, right? This is a very powerful alignment formula where you start to live on a permanent basis in alignment with your desire. Okay. And then the second thing you do is you say, how am I actually feeling? And when you start to write your feelings, like you are trying, or there is this tightness, and you always feel you are missing something, or you're always trying to do more, or you feel I'm not doing enough, or all the feelings that you have, you realize we are feeling the same feeling day in, day out, same feeling day in, day out, right? And then after you have done the thoughts and feelings, you write, what actions am I taking? Because actions are not on their own. Actions don't exist on their own. They are the byproduct of what you're thinking and what you're feeling, right? So I did that. And then I said, how can I now choose a better feeling thought? So I went back to after writing the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, I said, how can I go back to a better feeling thought? Right. And think and give it a different thought. So instead of saying it's too slow, what if I say I'm really good at connecting with people? I'm really good at talking to people. And if you can get behind, you know, a really ridiculous thought, like I remember I chose a thought, and at that time it was nowhere near my reality at all. But I chose this thought that I can speak to a person, and within few minutes I can tell them their blocks. I can exactly tell them where they're blocking themselves, and it saves them decades. So I started to choose. They were not my reality. They were far from what I was being at that time, but I chose those ridiculous thoughts. If you cannot choose very powerfully ridiculous, very expensive thought, what can you choose which will not be rejected by your body? Because our body has got this bullshit control system, right? Which means what it does is when you choose a thought which is like, no, that's not true, it just rejects it completely. Now, for me, it's very easy to choose that kind of thoughts because my mind knows and my body knows whatever I choose, it does happen. It has always happened. But if you can get behind it, choose that thought. If you cannot, go to a slightly lower thought where your body can accept it, where your body can say, yeah, that could be right. Or the other thing, what you can do is, which is really powerful, you can say, how would it feel if that was true? So instead of just saying, do I believe that? You can say, how would I feel? Wouldn't it be great? And instead of trying to get so attached to it and say, I want it right now, what if you say that would be really good? I'm just falling in love with that idea, right? So either you can choose a slightly lower, a bracket of thoughts, which is not too crazy and rejected, because when it's rejected, you're feeling the old even more. It's reinforced. Or you can just bypass this and say, how would it feel if that was true? How would it feel if I had people in the waiting list to work with me? Or how would it feel if you have an investment property, if I'm making 20, 30, 50x investment, if I'm making 100x investment, how would it feel? Right? So you choose a better feeling thought for all the limiting thoughts. Then you choose a better feeling, right? And then what you do is you start to ask yourself, am I acting in alignment? Am I taking those actions? Am I taking the bold actions that I would if I already had what I wanted? And when I asked myself that question, I was shocked. What I realized was that I was looking for a strategy which will help me become successful. But my identity was, I'm trying. I'm a corporate person working for somebody who is trying to be a successful entrepreneur and who is constantly having this almost there energy and almost like the next strategy would work. Yes, the next one will definitely work. Oh, this one didn't work. Yes, next one. So I was constantly not yet energy. I was just trying after trying after trying. And what I also realized was I wasn't even living in alignment. So I was scared to even go live and teach what I wanted to teach. I was scared to even really talk to people and have maybe a discovery call or have a conversation. I wasn't even posting because I just thought why wasn't I posting when I really dig deeper? My thought was what I post or what I have to say is not good enough. I'm still trying. So I wasn't doing what a coach does. And that's when I had a 180 shift in my life and I said, how can I start living in alignment? And I redesign my day. I redesign my day very consciously based on the changing the thinking, changing the feeling, and then living in alignment. And I literally, what it took me was a blank paper, and I said, okay, when I already have that, how would I be living? I would wake up, I would feel inspired, I would do my meditation, I would I'm not too strict on I have to do this and this and this. That's not how my system works. I work more on what inspires me. So I thought, okay, if I'll do my gratitude, I'll go for a walk, or I'll do things that really put my nervous system in an expensive state. So a lot of times we are living our days on autopilot. We are living our days where it's not putting us in that expensive flow state. And we are just so contracted and we are thinking the same thinking, feeling, and doing the same action and wondering why the strategy is not working like I was doing, right? So I redesigned my day. And I remember when I was doing that, it felt so like, oh, that will be so good. That will be so good to be true. That will be amazing. But the more I started thinking and feeling and acting in alignment, I remember there was a day I was sitting and I think I just finished a coaching call. And I was like, oh my God, I am living that life. I'm living that. And it's not even months have passed, and I'm living that day that I designed. And it felt so natural. It's like, when you look at your kids or when somebody else look at your kids and they say, oh my God, your kids have grown up so much and they were like tiny babies and it doesn't feel for you that, oh, they've grown so much. For other people it's like when they see them after a while. So the same for you. In when you're in it, it won't feel so much change, but when you look back you would be like, whoa, I am living that life. And it's so normal. It doesn't even look that crazy. It doesn't even look that too good to be true. I just grew into that life. So what I did was I even chose a perfume or few perfumes that reminded me of that life. And that reminded me, if you focus on my words, I did not say that I would try to feel that life. I said that reminded me because that life always existed. I just tapped into the frequency of that life. And that's why it became my 3D, my physical reality. But that life always existed. So the perfume reminded me of the fact that that life always existed. Right? So what you want is already manifested. It's in your fourth dimension, but it's already manifested. And what you want to do is you want to remind yourself. And what you're seeing in your 3D is literally 0.00001% of what the truth and what the reality is. So you want to remind yourself instead of saying you're trying, right? It already is there. So I started to use those perfumes that reminded me of who I am. I asked myself, what kind of clothes would I wear that would make me feel different? Again, with clothes, it might sound like, oh, that's too shallow. That's too, I mean, that's not the whole thing. That it's more inner work, right? But your clothes give a very powerful message to your subconscious that you're changing, you're shifting, right? How would you I started to really be present when I'm doing my makeup. I used to listen to my script while I'm doing my makeup. I would um I would be really present and enjoy doing my makeup, enjoying getting ready. Started to wear the things I would wear. Started to and it's not even about you have to get the same things. As long as if you can have the experience that will give you the same feeling, it's fine. So right now, I want to manifest a really, really big diamond necklace. And what I've done is I've ordered the exact same design, but it's not diamond, and I wear it, and it gives me the feeling that I have it already, right? So what you want to do is you want to start choosing a different, you have to re-engineer your day and start choosing the things that put your nervous system in that expanded state, that increase your nervous system, because you cannot expect your mind to feel abundant and to feel that in your body, but there is no change. There is the same thinking, same feeling, same action, and then why it's not happening? No, it the whole embodiment has to shift. And then what I started doing was I would just go to Chelsea in London. That's the most uh, expensive area and absolutely beautiful. You can feel the money, you can feel the vibe. I would go there, I would sit in a very nice cafe, and a lot of times I met very, 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 very wealthy people there, and built connections, attracted them, built, like, did collaborations with them, got invitations to exclusive events. I would just sit there by myself and just enjoy my coffee, and I had no intention that I'm trying to do that. Sometimes they would literally come and say, oh, your energy felt really good. We just want to have a quick chat. And it's like, it's when you are the magnet for those things, when you are in that energy, when it's like money's in the air. Money is in the air. Money is, you have an electromagnetic field, and money is in the air, attracted from the air, right? So I started uh, even sometimes I took my daughter to those cafes, and we would just go and have a very nice posh cream tea, or we would have a very nice experience, right? Or one of the other things I did, which I started driving around the house that we wanted to manifest, right? And the house that I'm manifesting right now, me and my daughter both go and we drive there. She sits next to me and we visualize living there. And I love the fact that even they are learning this, because she's 8 years old. She's not older. She's not that old, but she is already making these things as a normal thing. Like that's how it works, right? So what the key here is, how would you live your day if that was true? How can you start going to that experience? How can you re-engineer your day? And you start living more and more and more in alignment. Of course, quite a few things you may not be able to shift because maybe you have work or maybe you have to do something. But what about the things you can? What about the experiences that you can bring? Maybe there is a bracelet or there is some watch that you can wear that reminds you. Maybe there is a playlist. So the other thing what I have is, which is so powerful, of course I listen to my script, and sometimes what I do is, if I'm just working or like doing some house stuff, I just put it in my, and I just keep listening to it on loop, like just keep listening to it. And even when I'm not paying attention, my subconscious is listening, is getting reprogrammed into me. And that life, or whatever life that you're manifesting, it's not big or small, it just is. And the moment you start living it, you realize it just is. It's just is. It's not crazy. It's not too good to be true. It's just is. That's how it is now. That's your new normal. That's your baseline. Right? So the other thing what I do is I have a playlist where every song is a preview of the things that I'm manifesting. And now that I see, I literally find myself, it's like I have manifested a lot of things through those songs. So it's really powerful to have a playlist in your songs where it reminds you. If you like a car, if you want to manifest a car, attach a song to it and listen to that song and feel sitting in your car. If there is a house, if there is a mansion, whatever that is, make a song, like not make a song, but choose a song, play it, and picture yourself living in that house. And if you do it a few times, every time you'll play that song, the house will come, like the image of the house will come. You start doing it naturally. You will build a neural connection. If you want to go on the stages, if you have, let's say you have some kind of milestone, right? And you wanna attach a song to it, and then how would you celebrate that milestone? Would you get some kind of award? Would you go and speak on the stage? Would you have some kind of certificate? What would you have for that milestone? So use that for that milestone,
Mama.
right? So you want to start using the things that reinforce the feeling, that remind you. It could be even changing the kind of bed sheets you use, that reminds you of more abundance and wealth. It could be starting to buy coffee from a different place. Maybe getting it in a more porcelain, like some nice posh cup instead of just getting it in a paper cup. It could be that you drive around in a nice neighborhood where you would love to live. So all these things, as you re-engineer your day, you start to naturally shift your identity. You start to give a very powerful message to your subconscious that now I'm living in alignment. So when I realized that I'm not even being a coach, what I realized was, when I would wake up, I would do my rituals, I would do my things that feel aligned, then I would have a coaching call. But at that time, I had no client. So what do? I started going live, and I said, let me coach people on Facebook. Let me just go live on my profile. First day, nobody came. Second day, I don't think anybody came. Doesn't matter. I'm coaching. What does a coach do? Coach does coaching. So I'm coaching because I am a coach. I'm not waiting for the client to show up and give me the proof. I am a coach. And what happened when I started coaching? I became it. I attracted clients. They said, yeah, we love your energy. We'd love for you to work. We would love to work with you. So when I became that, what does a farmer do? A farmer does farming. What does an actor do? Actor does acting. So if you want to have the outcome that you desire, are you that person fully? If you want to be successful, are you embodying success right now? What does a runner do? A runner runs. Some people might say, oh, how can you run every day? Because that's what they do. They run every day. That's normal. So that's their identity. So what I realized was the hour that I thought that I would have for coaching when I didn't have clients, I started coaching. And I realized that after failing 8 strategies, because none of them had the identity that I was looking for. When I started coaching, I became a coach. I stepped in that. I started coaching. All of a sudden, those thoughts, maybe what I've got to say is not important. Maybe it's not that powerful. Maybe I say something wrong. Or maybe somebody asked me a question that I cannot have the answer for. They just went away because I just jumped all in. So all my fears or all your fears, when you jump in the water, even if you had the fear that water must be cold, it just goes. You're like, okay, now I'm in it. I'm in the water now. What is the depth of the water? How cold it is? It just all goes away because you're now in the water. You are it. So all my things that were holding me back, they just fell off because I just jumped in. And then I remember I had this thing that I would have a really nice coffee. I would sit and I would have time to really contemplate and think, and then I would have time to read books and really be with myself. And some days I'll just go shopping in the middle of the day. If there is something in my kids' school, I will always be available. And when I look back, I started living that life. But you have to re-engineer that life first. Are you living in alignment? Are you thinking in alignment? Are you feeling in alignment? Where you're not seeing yourself with that already. Because it's about reminding. It's not about trying or it's not about faking it. It's already here. And it happened in such a subtle way. I remember Napoleon Hill, this example is so beautiful in Think and Grow Rich. He says, the way your manifestation shows up, it's so subtle, it's so natural that when you look back, you realize, oh my God, I'm living that life. And he said, it's like when you're in the cinema and the movie just finishes, and all of a sudden they start turning on the lights back, right? And gradually the lights are turning on, and all of a sudden it's bright. And you look and you're like, oh, it's all bright now. It's so subtle. It's almost like it just happens so naturally. It's just that's how it was meant to happen. So whatever, the other thing is talk talk it in your life. Like just keep talking about it, keep thinking about it. You don't have to make it happen. You don't have to force it to happen. Just keep thinking about it. It's like you just fuel it. You keep fueling it. Just talk into existence. And what I found is that is really powerful. A point will come when it will be so natural that you would know that there is no way but this is going to happen. Like I know, like it is inevitable. And logically or statistically, nothing would have changed. And that is when you have fused with the idea. So when people ask me, how do I know if my manifestation is going to show up? How do I know if I'm become a match? Two things. One, that you attracted a contrast and it was crazy. So if you attracted contrast, if everything fell apart, that is a really good sign because that helped you expand your nervous system. Contrast is the most powerful way to expand your nervous system because it shows you what needs releasing. It shows you. That is the best way to show you what needs releasing because that triggers everything. And the other thing is when you fuse with it so much that you know it's going to happen, you just know. What is the statistical proof? What is the logic? None. But just know. That's what who you are. You just know. And the more you shift your identity, the more you give yourself, the more you redesign your identity in such a way. You redesign how you think, how you feel, how you're being. That means if you're saying that thing that I'm doing would require me to be really good at speaking, what identity can you give yourself today? I remember with my one-to-one client, not too long ago, I told her, you can have this identity, innovation is my second name. And she's like, yes, I love that. Innovation is my second name. And then the moment she started feeling it, and the moment she said, okay, how do I think when innovation is my second name? I can figure things out. I think of very creative ideas. Things always come to me. Then she started feeling in alignment and she started acting in alignment. And what started to happen was all the projects in her team, everybody started coming to her. All the new projects were given to her. All the big projects were given to her. And then she got promotion because innovation was her second name. So what kind of identities you can give yourself? You can give yourself any identity on the planet and you don't even have to believe it. I don't remember giving myself any identity where I believe straight away. None. But who cares? If you don't believe it just yet, who cares? You can just say, how would it feel? So what if you give yourself identities that feel so good, that feel so good that you're like, I don't even care about believing. I just, when I feel it, it just turns me on. It's like that, it's electric in my body. Like it's so good. And then you keep doing this, like you keep feeling it, you keep embodying that. And before you know it, it's your second name. And then you live in alignment. So does your day, the way you live your day, does it help you expand your nervous system? Does it help you stay in the expanded state? Or there are things in your day that you do or you experience or you have which needs to go, which really need to go, and you know that. There are experiences that you're doing because they're comfortable, but you know they need to go. You know they're not in alignment. So if you are wondering why it hasn't showed up yet, here is the answer. If you are that person and that is your truth, and the reason I can say it so confidently because you have that desire. Desire is the proof. I love the way Wallace D. Wallace says in The Science of Getting Rich, desire is the possibility seeking expression. It is already possible. It's just seeking expression. So let it seek expression through you. The things that don't serve you, the things that contract your nervous system, the people that contract your nervous system, the experiences that contract your nervous system, we are not available for them. We are not available. We live in alignment. We jump all in. Whatever you desire is already the proof that this is your truth. So jump all in, be it. What are you waiting for? If your day, if your months are not reflecting being that person, then you're not a match yet. And it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to become a match. So scan your day and start adding different feeling activators. Your perfume, your necklace, your handbag, maybe a song, maybe the way you drive, or maybe where you drive, or maybe there are some little thing that maybe there is a post-it note that you leave for yourself. Maybe where you shop, maybe what you get, maybe the mug that you drink from. You are abundant right now, and money is in the air. Are you breathing that air? Are you feeling that air? That's the question. Because money is in the air. So in this world, there are two kind of people running in parallel. One who are in the middle class, who are constantly thinking about survival and just enough, whose aim is the moment they have just enough, they stop. And then there are the quieter ones. And then there are the ones who say, what if? And the ones who are like, let's just go for it. The ones who go higher and higher and higher because they know there is no limit. The ones who dare to ask. And it's so important to not get stuck in that middle class. I genuinely feel, I wish I had a vaccine. Like, they had COVID vaccine. I wish I had a middle class vaccine that we can just all had that, because it is so prevalent and it's so easy to pick up and it's so everywhere. So you want to protect your energy. Your energy is so luxury. You want to redesign and re-engineer your day, your energy in such a way that all you see, live, and breathe is abundance, because that's all there is. Not just enough, but overflow. Thinking as big as you want and going and jumping all in. Wherever you find yourself thinking about just enough or survival, you immediately switch. You release the fear, you release the feeling, and you choose a different thought, different feeling, different identity. So what I believe in is that instead of just, trying and saying, okay, let me push harder, let me do this, let me try that. What if every time you see that it's not expended enough or you're not receiving what you really desire, go for even a higher identity. Instead of trying to push the outcome, expend your identity. Expend how you see yourself, and your vibrational match will find you. We play the money game in God or source way. In God or source's world, there is no price tag, that everything is there available to you. And everything is available for you. Price tag and how much is it and can I have it is the middle class. And the whole world is operating like that. It's so common. It's everywhere. It's so contagious. It's so easy to get involved in that. But then there is a consciousness where you can ask and you can have it, where you dream big, where you really desire what you really want. But all that demands is a different consciousness. All that demands is a different thought, is a different feeling, is a different kind of day that you live every day. So what does in your life and in your day doesn't serve you? It has to go. It has to go for you and for your generations. Somebody has to break the cycle. So if everything in your day is not aligned to your expended nervous system and your expended money frequency, it has to shift. And then you can reverse what feeling, what thinking.